Now, I didn't have to turn over anything. I chose to turn over 55,000 pages because I wanted to go above and beyond what was expected of me, because I knew the vast majority of everything that was official already was in the State Department system. And now I think it's kind of fun. People get a real-time, behind-the-scenes look at, what I was emailing about and what I was communicating about.
Wearing warm socks, as you said to John Podesta.
Exactly, or
working a fax machine.
Yeah, a secure fax machine, which is harder to work than the regular.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Hillary. Now she thinks it's so much fun to read all the emails that she did hand over to the State Department as they release them. I got to tell you, let me tell you something about Brianna Keeler, and we're going to go more in depth on these Hillary interviews, the Hillary interview, and portions of what she talked about in the 2 Gimme Fives today. But, Brianna Keeler, as the interviewer, didn't do her job, I don't believe. When they talked. All right, let's go to Dick Morris right now. Dick Morris, a political strategist, Newsmax contributor, author of Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Hello, Dick.
Hey, Steve. Good to be here.
Welcome
aboard. I found it fun to watch Hillary destroy herself. It's a ball.
Well, I was certainly going to ask you your impressions. How did she destroy herself?
Well, I think that it was so clear to everybody that she has no answers to this stuff. Let me correct the one lie that you just broadcast. Not you, but Hillary. She certainly did have an obligation to turn it over. First of all, she was named in a Freedom of Information suit that the court ruled that stuff had to be turned over. Secondly, every Secretary of State is legally obliged to give the State Department all of their materials, all of their memos and everything else when they leave office. The only questionable issue here is, can that be enforced? And the Supreme Court has ruled that, yes, they have to turn it over, but the agency that has the right to enforce it is the State Department. So John Kerry may not have tried to enforce the law that made Hillary return the documents. But it's a little bit like saying, I killed somebody today, but I wasn't arrested, so I wasn't required to be arrested.
Well, also the subpoena, when she bristled at the mention of the word subpoena, said there was never a subpoena, when in fact in March of this year, the Select Committee subpoenaed those emails.
You know what I found really interesting about the interview, Steve? The stuff that wasn't talked about. There were two topics that were not mentioned, the speaking fees or Benghazi. And I was wondering why those were not mentioned. And I don't know, what's her name, Brianna, who interviewed?
Brianna Keeler, yes.
Yeah. I don't know her, but I assume she's a pretty good journalist. I've heard good things about her. I can't imagine that she would have Hillary on the griddle for almost half an hour and not mention those two subjects. So I am inclined to believe that that was a deal, that Hillary would not come on if those were discussed. One then asked themselves why Hillary would insist on that and why Brianna would have to give in. And I suspect the reason for that is that Hillary is not discussing those topics on advice of counsel, which is the television equivalent of taking the Fifth Amendment.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Because you would think that those would be the two most popular topics to talk about. Sure. Very briefly, there's talk of Joe Biden getting into the race. Now, I know that you've written about Bernie Sanders and what he's doing to Hillary. What would Biden do if he got in?
The real threat to Hillary is Biden. And
is Biden or Sanders?
Biden.
Okay.
Because Sanders is not going to win the Democratic Party nomination. If he gets closer, it'll be like Howard Dean in 2004, when he got a leg up because of his gay marriage thing in Vermont, and the Kennedys and the Clintons had to.
We only have 30 more seconds, Dick, so I don't want to cut you off. So tell me why. Yeah.
Biden, I think, will run, and I think that if Hillary self-destructs, which is what she's doing, and opens the door for Bernie Sanders to take the party over the left cliff, I believe Obama and everybody else will make sure Biden gets that nomination.
Very interesting. All right, to be continued, Dick. Thank you very, very much. Make sure to get your copy of Dick Morris's best-selling book, Power Grab. You go to powergrab411.com. Up next, Ruben Navarrete. Don't go away.